I figured out how to make it record, so it's no longer going to be in post-production. And we're going to create an entire new world because of one comment. Yeah, turns out nobody else made a comment. So, here we go. I'm going to put it on hard difficulty. We're going to have commands off. Alright, so I found this on Reddit. They claim to have found the seed for HermitCraft Season 11, and this is the seed. Now, unfortunately, like I mentioned, I personally do not know where spawning in the nether is. On the thing, did I type it in wrong? Okay, so it turns out this is the seed. It is just not at that point that ward spawn is usually. There's a village over there, and there's a village over here. So this is where my base is located. For a bit more context, that is where Gem, Scar, and Spawn, and Mumbo are at, and the arrow points to where Decked Out 2 is. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and make this game mode survival. Yep. And then we're going to go ahead and do slash, what is it, set ward spawn? Yeah, set ward spawn. To this location. And I'm going to go ahead and close out, open it back in, just so that way we don't have cheats anymore. As you can see, game mode doesn't work. So now we are going to begin. Yeah, there's a village, so I'm gonna go raid the village first. Alright, so I ended up raiding the village. I got 38 hay bales. I got myself a blue bed, because it's the best kind of bed. I got 2 chickens in there with sheep and some pigs, so that way I don't kill all of them, so I can breed some later. Now we can go on a killing spree. And honestly, I think I'm going to go caving once I get the food too. So I will be back once I get all the food situated. Alright, so I am back. I did a few things. I got some cows in a pen. I even bred them up to make one little baby cow right there. We got 2 campfires, so that way I can cook my food and not have to use as much coal. I made a small little tree farm over here, and I also trapped some villagers in that house, and I lit up the cave down over here to get a little bit of coal, and to keep the mobs from spawning. I also had to put that over the campfires, because I kept getting hit by them, which is always so much fun. So, now let's carry on and go ahead and actually go mining. And then also, I don't feel like I use leather as equipment as much as ever. Honestly, I almost never used it. So now we went ahead and got a leather chestplate. You know, honestly, the hermits mostly keep their caving adventure. Yeah, the hermits usually keep most of their caving adventures inside the video when they do it for the first time, so I might just do that. Like, for instance, the skull vein. Here it is, here it isn't. You know, something like that. Here's the skull vein, and here it isn't. There was some copper also, and some more coal over there, so might as well all get it into one clip. But, you know, just been sitting here treacherously mining. Now, we do have 2 villagers inside of that building that we did trap them in, so hopefully those 2 villagers will still be alive when we come back, so that way we can do some villager trading and such. And I'm planning on having the same village or trading hall as Impulse has. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there is a nether fortress if I make a nether portal right here. So, at least it was on HermitCraft. If I do have the spawn location correct, which I do believe I do, so it shouldn't be too hard to get blaze rods and stuff to make potions of weakness. So hopefully we can get them queued up and stuff. And I also want to make an iron farm just like they did. And that is my plans for this video at least, is to make an iron farm, have a villager trading hall, and also just get probably like diamond gear. So yeah, I'm not going to do what they did, which is kill the wither. At least I don't think I'm going to be able to do that within a reasonable amount of time, as since I am behind, since I had to restart this and all, I am behind what they have accomplished, and even more so now. And this time I'm not going to be speed running the end, because, well, I don't believe they have the end up yet, and I'm going to wait until they have the end up to also get my end up. Now, I think that is a fair thing, although technically, because the videos come out like a bit later than when they actually do things, because, you know, editing and stuff, it might also still mean that I'm behind them in terms of what they've done, but that should be fine. Ooh, skeletons hit like a truck. But yeah, I need a shield pretty badly. Ooh, nope. I'm actually... oh, okay, hit the spider, so hopefully the spider helps me out. I'm going to make some copper equipment, and
so I'm going to quickly
I'll
just
be
voice over
back
this. So essentially, I
once
like the fact that they added copper
I
equipment
find a good
finally,
cave.
but
So, see you
something
then.
I
Hello.
do want
We are back.
to gripe a
I
little bit
finally
about
found
is
a
I
good
feel like
cave.
it's not
It goes
unique
pretty deep down
enough.
that way.
It's just kind of
And
stone with
there's
extra
also a lot of zombies
durability,
in there.
which although
Now, something I do want to talk
makes it
about
nice for early
while
game,
we're in this
is
cave,
not
not only
very
resource check.
good
This is all the
in
resources I
terms
got
of
while trying to
resources.
find the
You
cave.
can completely skip
No
over it,
iron still yet.
and you would
And in fact, I
have
don't see
no
any
clue.
iron anywhere, so...
Like, it doesn't
yeah,
mine
that's
faster than
fancy.
stone.
But something I do
It
want to talk
doesn't
about
do more
is
damage than
actually
stone.
all of this
The
equipment.
only nice thing really is that you can make equipment without needing iron. And let's be honest, nobody uses leather equipment. Although copper equipment, as far as I've been told, like copper chest plates and stuff, don't really defend you, like, at all. It's like the same as chainmail, which is not great to begin with. Chainmail being the second worst armor in game. So you probably, honestly, like some people have said, better off just getting iron and ignoring copper, unless you're planning on building with copper. But in this little tangent, I kind of like was saying, you know, I like it because, well, it's nice to have more resources. But honestly, I kind of changed my perspective on that a little bit. I personally would like it better if it was stone with a little bit more durability, not by much, instead of, you know, the 200 durability I think it has. Make it, I don't know, 150, so it gets a little bit more, like a little bit more than stone. That's 20 more durability, roughly, than stone. But then have it mine about as fast as iron. but have where the copper pickaxe cannot mine the same things as iron pickaxe, so it wouldn't be able to mine redstone, it wouldn't be able to mine diamonds, wouldn't be able to mine, I don't believe it can mine emerald either. It can still mine lapis because stone can mine lapis. If you didn't know that, then there's a little fun fact. But yeah, no, copper equipment I feel like needs a little bit more umph to it. Now, what I am kind of saying is it would be kind of hard to balance that, though, because if you do basically get, like, iron equipment with how common copper is, as you can see in this clip, I'm just getting copper left, right, and center, it would be kind of unbalanced to the point where iron would be useless if you make it too close to iron. However, I think if you do have something like copper being at least something in between stone and iron, instead of just having it basically be stone with extra steps, but it gives you a little bit more durability. Because 190, I believe, is what the durability is at, is nowhere close to being enough for it to really be any different than stone. You might make 1 or 2 less pickaxes, but oftentimes you only make like 1 stone pickaxe. I don't see anybody out here making more than 1 stone pickaxe. Let me put it that way. So that's kind of my opinion on it at this point in time, is it's kind of not fantastic. It's nice that it finally has a use outside of just building, but I think they could have done a better job of making it unique versus having it just be stone with extra steps. Anyways, back to the video.
But you know, opinions are opinions. And yep, this is indeed a good cave. Now without any iron, we do just have to kind of punch him in, speaking of the devil, and he shall appear. Nice. Alright, at this point in time, is just probably jump cut a bunch. Here we go. And some copper over here. Next resource. Ooh. I guess not. Oh, freaking me. Some more iron. Yeah, let's just get this lit up, actually. Oh my god, that's a massive vein. Some more. So much in this cave. I love the caves and cliffs update. Probably hands down one of my most favorite updates. Nope, not a baby zombie. Do creepers creepers explode while you're on this? Oh, yep, if it's right there. Ooh. Oh my god. It literally feels like it can hit you from forever away. That honestly felt so unfair. Holy cow. Please don't explode. I'm just going to heal up. Holy. Yeah, copper armor. Honestly, it's just like chainmail. It does not feel like it defends anything. Okay, he just fell on a stalagmite. He must be low, right? Okay. There we go. And my pickaxe is about to be expired. Don't worry, got another one. Alright, and back into the time lapse maybe? Actually, I'm going to grab some dripstone. And we're also going to need some dripstone blocks. When the other hermits are making theirs. And I guess, well, with all of that being said, some coal. Some more coal. Some copper. Right by the coal, in fact. Some more copper. Right by some gravel. Which we're going to... Yeah, satisfaction. That was, not close at all. I don't know what you're talking about. But some iron, some copper, some copper, some resource condension, some torch crafting, and some coal. Some more copper, some coal right here, some iron, and some coal. Another pickaxe, don't mind if I do. Some iron, some more iron, some coal, some more iron, some more iron, more iron and more iron. And some more iron over here too. Some copper over here. Some iron and copper all in one nice package for me. Some copper and gold. Nice. Yeah, I definitely didn't click F3 when I meant to click F5. I would never. Well, I think you guys get the point though of mining the ores, so I'll cut to when we get some better ones like diamonds and such. Alright, and I'll see you all when we go down. So, just a quick update. So, we got some dripstone over here. I made a quick little chest just to put some of the junk items in, just in case if I die, I have some backup equipment. I've got 2 stacks of copper already, a stack of coal blocks, and also, we did have some iron pickaxes. I smelted some iron, got myself some nice gear, got myself a shield, and I found going through that entire cave, all the way over there, that part of it, it leads straight up to where my base is going to be, or close to my base. It leads back to the village. And thus I'm going to go ahead and deposit all of this stuff before I go down and around into the deep dark, or the deep slate zone. So I'll be back when I do that. Alright? See you. So I decided to show, so at the end of this cave it comes up over here, And this goes right back to where the village is, so it's not too far away, and right over there is my base. So I got back to the base, and we have a villager that has joined our ranks inside our little OSHA compliant cages. Trust me, I checked. They're OSHA compliant. And yeah, well, I didn't intend to have a villager in here. I'm actually quite surprised he hasn't died yet from zombies and stuff. I even had to take out a witch, as you can see, with some sugar, glowstone, spider eye, and redstone. That's where I got all of that from. And I'm just smelting some more iron, so that way we can make some more pickaxes. We'll go still take a stack of coal, and as you can see, there's all the copper, all of the coal, and all of the trees also grew. So now we just have this one nice thick piece of wood with 3 C's. And I will cut back to when we go back into the cave. Alright, back into the caves we go. We are going to go ahead and actually do some deep caving. And with this deep caving, we will hopefully find some diamonds and stuff. I will cut to when we find something interesting. Well, that didn't take very long. In fact, it's right over here, right where I was mining the iron. There's some diamonds. Now, the amount of diamonds I want is probably going to be at least enough for a pickaxe, as I do plan on getting villagers up and running. So I want enough for a pickaxe and 2 extra to make an enchantment table. After that, I will head back to the surface and start working on villages. I hear a bunch of zombies. And I think it might be a mob spawner. So I'm going to quickly investigate it. Here-ish. Yeah. Sounds like it's right. Ah, never mind. Not a mob spawner. Well, you win some, you lose some. Well, it turns out I lied, because if we come over here, this is where I came in, and there was indeed a mob spawner. Oh my lord. So, now we get a nice little bit of extra loot. And no longer am I disappointed. And some diamond horse armor. I will take it. Yeah, trade it out for snowballs. Grab the bones, grab that. Redstone, and well, I'm mostly going to go ahead and take the coordinates of this. F3 screen. Print screen. There we go. Alright, well, then I'll see you guys when I find my diamonds, and we'll make this into an XP grind eventually. So, yep, see you when I find diamonds. I kid you not, I was caving for like an extra 5 seconds maybe, and yeah, right here I found a skeleton spawner. Right, it's like right below the other one. Fortune 3, that's crazy. It only had 1 chest, but that was so worth. If we just get up over yonder way, I can show you where the zombie spawner is. It's just right up this little path. And this is where the zombie spawner is. So, huge find. And unlike the other one, I think these two might be close enough. Looking at it now, they might not actually be. But I can probably check the coordinates and see if they are indeed close enough. And we found another skeleton spawner. It's not too close to the other ones, but it is another option if we need it. So, congrats me, I guess. We also found disc 13 and a name tag. And some extra gunpowder. And some melons! Nice. Alright, See you when I find diamonds, or something else that's good. While I was mining around, I also found an amethyst geode. Unfortunately, I don't have, like, any inventory space for it. Now, I forgot to record the last diamond, but I decided to record that we found some scork sensors with no shrieker around, and we went ahead but I found diamond right there, and diamond right there, so let's go ahead and grab these now. I was considering whether or not we should put fortune on my pickaxe, and we did find a 2 vein earlier, that's why we do have the 2 extra diamonds. Like I said, forgot to record that. And is there any over here actually? No, but there is more scork. So... oh, there's one right there. Never mind. So we'll go ahead and grab this one, and then we'll grab the other one. And then I'll see if I can find any more while we're down here. Because we are having pretty decent luck with the diamonds now, with a bunch of them being like right next to each other. Well, oopsie daisy. Okay. Well, I guess I'll see you guys back at the surface, and I'll tell you guys if I find any more diamonds. Alright, so I might have lost my way just a bit, so I found my way back to the mob spawner, and I'm just going to mine up from here, so that way I know exactly where it's going to be. My inventory's filled. So I'll be back when I'm on the surface. Bye. Hello, back everybody. And that's where the mob spawner is. And this is where the village is in my base. So it's actually quite close by, which is really nice. So that way I can have a mob grinder right at home. So, yep. Heading back, and we'll do a resource check once we get there, so I'll see you guys back in a sec. And there's so many iron golems around, it's daytime now, and I can count one in the distance over there, one over here, one there, and I think I also see one right there popping its head out. I'm just gonna go quickly investigate, and yep, there's another one right there. And there was also the one that just died. That's so many iron golems, holy cow. Guess it's what happens when you are mining right underneath a village. Well, at least some of the villagers are still alive, and I'm pretty sure the ones hopefully inside that house that I trapped are still too. I also did end up mining for quite a while extra. So I'm going to make that chest, and I'll let you guys know when I have it organized. So we're back, and there's quite a lot of villagers still alive, and over here in this chest we have our entire haul. We got a decent amount of lapis, a lot of iron, so much copper. We didn't actually get too much copper on top of the copper we already had. We didn't get like any coal basically. In fact, if anything, I went out a lot of coal making torches. We did get a Fortune 3 book, and I did end up mining for about an extra 2 hours almost, I want to say. So we got a couple more extra diamonds on top of all of this. And I did end up making some room to just get a stack of amethyst shards, and this is everything else that we had from the start, basically. And we're almost out of food, though we do still have a little bit, and I am going to keep this, because I realize that we do need not only for villager trades, but also for villager breeding. Now, I do want to crack on with that, and given the fact that we did find this mob spawner right over that way, I think it would be a good idea to base, like, right there to begin with. So that way we can just have a quick drop down to go ahead and get XP whenever we need it. And the village is right here, so it should be no problem to try and make a villager trading hall right here. And if you're wondering what I am doing, is I figured out by watching more Hermit's videos that this might actually not be the spawn, and that might be the spawn. Over that way. And yeah, I'm not sure what I want to do yet. I think the first thing I'm going to do actually is probably try and build a starter base right over here. Flatten out some of the land and make my little quarry. That is going to be my first base. Once I make the quarry, then we can have right over here mob drop. And I think I'm going to save the spawners for next episode because I still have to do villagers this episode. So let's, I guess, get to that. So about 3 iron shovels, 1 iron pickaxe, and 30 minutes of my time later, because it turns out using iron tools to dig out a massive hole takes a little bit. Anyways, now that it's all dug out, I should explain what I kind of want to do for my base. I kind of want to have like a crane that's holding like a bunch of materials. I want like have a pile of materials somewhere also that it's depositing all of the stuff on. And then I just want like a big gaping hole in the middle. Kind of like a mini version of ImplusSV's base, where he just has that big hole, except mine's going to lead to my base, so it's eventually just going to be like a hole that drops right into some water, and then I might also have like a ladder that allows me to get out, and that's kind of what the idea is going to be. And I want the crane to not be like, you know, an industrial crane from, you know, like building skyscrapers kind of one. I want it to be like a wooden crane to really match the vibe a bit more. And I kind of want it to be like one of those ones where you have like the counterweight over here, where it's like a big block of stone or something, and then it be mounted on like 2 legs right here, and then that's where it has all of the stuff. Something more like that. So I will try and build that, and I also want the ground to kind of be more like, not like this where it's all grass. Instead, I kind of want it to be more like industrial, you know, coarse dirt, some gravel, some stuff like that. So, and also probably some path blocks. And I might even get some podzol for this too, so I would have to mine those trees and do all of that. Well, I'll let you guys know when I finish. Be right back. So I am back, and as you can see, I have the crane all situated. It's like one of those old-fashioned ones where it's like on a mount, kind of like, well, a lot of things. Oh, kind of on a mount, but I'm thinking of like specifically those big binoculars when you go to like state parks that you insert like a quarter on, that tilt like that. That's kind of what this crane is. As you see, it has this, and then it has this. This allows it to kind of roll like that between this. This is supposed to be like the dowel that goes into the middle of it. But admittedly, it's Minecraft, so it has to be a square instead of a circle, which is usually what it is. But you know, it still works out. We have its little counterbalance over here, which is just basically a bunch of stone. And we have its load all the way over here. It's picking up some things from the cave that I'm eventually going to make down below. And then over here, we have like the kind of like a mine structure where, you know, when you go down into the mines, you kind of build one of these, and each one's like a different level, but we kind of made it like above ground to start off with. And I'm planning on maybe having like a pathway from the village to it. But for right now, it's just kind of like this. And it's not quite done. As you see, I still need to put fences there. I probably still need to put the wood with the button on it on the edge. But I'm not gonna lie to you. I have gathered so much wood between the crane being basically a big block of wood, and this needing a bunch of wooden planks and logs. So instead, what I'm going to do is actually start work on the villagers. And as you can tell, my food situation got a little bit dire. I ran out of all food, basically, besides apples, but I kind of want to save the apples to get golden apples at some point in time. So instead, I haven't really been breeding them. Instead, I kind of had to take half a stack, or half my stack of hay, which is about a fourth of a stack, to go ahead and get myself some bread. We also bought some monsters in between, because I did not have a bed up there at all, and I didn't want to come down here every single time. So yeah. Now, what we do need to do is just get, like, probably a villager breeder, and just kind of make a villager pit over here. And what we're going to do is just have, like, a mass area of villagers, and eventually we're going to move them over here into the base, instead of having them over here on this side. But just to get started, we're going to have them on this side. So I guess I'll be back when that's all situated. Been playing for about 12 hours straight, just to give you context on how long between the mining and this has taken. So now we got all of the villagers kind of trapped, or all of their beds moved in here, but they're still kind of roaming about, but hopefully by nighttime they should all just pop into my literal, not a concentration camp, because I'm not German, that much German. Anyways, alright, so we got all the villagers except for that one. It couldn't have been the nitwit. Nah, it had to be that guy. A very well unemployed guy. We have this little bridge for him when he finally decides he wants to contribute to society, unlike the nitwit that will never contribute to society. Yeah, we have 36 books. We still have 2 villagers right in here, so if we ever need to make a villager breeder, let's say all of these villagers are exactly the traits we want, then we can go ahead and just do that. We have 3 librarians, because that one had 2 and that one had 1. We also have a farmer from here, so yeah, everything else seems to be good. We kind of push some iron golems into here, just so that way they have a bit extra defense. These doors are placed in the way where they cannot be broken by zombies, so we shouldn't have to worry about that at all. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, then you're definitely not OG. And otherwise, I'm probably going to start getting these guys with jobs, trading out some wheat for some emeralds, maybe get a couple of sticks and trade those out, and we will be back. As you can see, I got some villagers to be traded up. So, for instance, this guy now gives me golden carrots, golden melons. I believe it's the bottom soup, not the top soup. If you look up top, gives you saturation, so I'll actually buy a few more of these just for the road. Got myself some golden carrots. This guy is emerald badge. This guy's gold badge. Been trading up some sticks. And is it this guy? Yeah, who gave me a really good deal. 25 emeralds for Depth Strider 3 book, and that's why I needed the extra of that. We do have lectrons, and now we need to go plant some sugarcane, probably plant some pumpkins. Hello, welcome back. Well, welcome me back, because it is the next day, and unfortunately, since I do have a job, I don't quite have as long as I want to get things done. So I also figured out where spawn is on this. It is not on this hill, like I thought it was. On the HermitCraft server, it is actually over that hill, just on the other side of that hill. So if you're wondering, yep, that is where it would be. I'll just quickly jump cut to that, and we'll be right back. Okay, I am back, so I believe this is their spawn. This is where Gem's Bridge is roughly about, from here to there, with that cherry blossom biome, I believe, being Scar's base. Right here is where I believe Mumbo Jumbo is, and I believe over here is the spawn with the portal right over here. And then my base for context. And so I'm just giving you a different angle. That's my base. That is where spawn is. So I'm not too far away from spawn, but it is like a decent amount of a walk to get from here to there.